What's going on, guys? It's Marco, or Chellers, and what you may notice at first is, why is my name Chellers and not Straight Up Hockey anymore? That's because I changed it because I want to do some gaming of other games instead of just NHL. My main content will still be NHL, but I want to play some other games, and having a name called Straight Up Hockey will make you think I'm just playing hockey, whereas Chellers makes it sound like it's something else, it's more of a gaming channel. But moving on from that, today is July 1st, which means Free Agent Frenzy is happening, and it actually just finished on TSN. It's 4:30 from when I'm recording right now. And I'm going to go through every single free agent that has been signed, as well as the contract extensions that have been signed by the teams, going through every team. Then at the end of the video, I'll be discussing the most notable free agent signings. So starting off at Anaheim, they actually had no free agent signings nor any contract extensions on July 1st at 4:30. We'll be skipping over to the Arizona Coyotes. Arizona had a pretty busy day. They signed Michael Grabner, who was in the New Jersey Devils, to a 3-year, $10.05 million contract, carrying a cap hit of $3.35 million a year. We have Oliver Ekman-Larsson re-signing to an 8-year deal of $66 million total, which is $8.25 million a year. We have Nicholas Hjalmarsson getting an extension of 2 years, $10 million, which is $5 million a year. Those are Arizona's 3 notable free agent / contract extensions. So now the Boston Bruins. The Boston Bruins had a couple big signings. Well, not even that big. They have a lot of signings. So first, they signed Yaroslav Halak to a 2-year, $5.5 million deal, which is $2.75 million a year. Then they signed Joachim Nordstrom, 26 years old, 2-year deal, $2 million, which is $1 million a year. They signed John Moore, who's 27 years old, to a 5-year deal, at $2.75 million a year. Chris Wagner, 27 years old, 2 years, $1.25 million a year. Cody Golubev to a 1-year, $650,000 deal. Mark McNeil to a 1-year, $650,000 deal as well. And finally, Axel Anderson to an entry-level contract of $925,000 a year. So next up, we have the Buffalo Sabres. The Buffalo Sabres did 4 signings. I think they're all signings and 1 extension. One of them is, 3 signings and 1 extension. First one is Carter Hutton, who signed a 3-year deal at $2.75 million a year. The next one is Scott Wedgwood, who's 25 years old. He signed a 1-year deal of $650,000. Next up is Scott Wilson, 26 years old, signed a 2-year, $2.1 million value, which is $1.05 million a year. And finally, Brandon Hickey, who signed an entry-level contract at 22 years old, $925,000 a year. Now we have the Calgary Flames. Calgary signed 2 players. They signed Austin Czarnik, 25 years old, to a 2-year, $1.25 million a year contract, and Derek Ryan to a 3-year, $3.125 million a year contract. Alright, so now we have the Carolina Hurricanes. They signed Petr Mrazek to a 1-year, $1.5 million deal, as well as signing Andrei Svechnikov to his entry-level contract. Alright, so now we have the Chicago Blackhawks. They signed Brandon Manning to a 2-year, $2.25 million a year contract, Adam Boqvist to his entry-level contract, Chris Kunitz to a 1-year, $1 million contract, as well as Cam Ward to a 1-year, $3 million contract. For the Colorado Avalanche, they did 2 signings. One of them is Ian Cole to a 3-year, $4.25 million a year cap hit, and Matt Calvert to a 3-year, $2.8 million a year cap hit. So for the Columbus Blue Jackets, they signed Tommy Cross to a 1-year, $650,000 deal, Adam Clendening to a 1-year, $700,000 deal, Dylan Simpson to a 2-year, $675,000 per year deal, and finally Riley Nash to a 3-year, $2.75 million deal per year. For the Dallas Stars, they made 8 deals, I believe. First, they signed Anton Khudobin to a 2-year, $2.5 million a year. Then they signed Blake Como to a 3-year, $2.4 million a year. Roman Polak to a 1-year, $1.3 million. Valery Nichushkin to a 2-year, $2.95 million a year. Colton Point to a entry-level contract. Eric Condra to a 1-year, $650,000 a year. Joel Hanley to a 1-year, $650,000 a year. And finally, Michael Mersch to a 2-year, $675,000 a year. Now we have Detroit Red Wings. They signed Jonathan Bernier to a 3-year, $3 million cap hit. Thomas Vanek, a 1-year, $3 million cap hit. Harry Sateri, that's how you say his name, a 1-year, $650,000 a year, for 1 year, sorry. Wade Megan, a 1-year, $650,000. Jake Chelios, a 1-year, $650,000. And finally, Chris Terry, a 2-year, $675,000 a year cap hit. Now we have the Edmonton Oilers. They signed Tobias Reeder to a 1-year, $2 million cap hit. Kyle Brodziak, a 2-year, $1.15 million a year cap hit. And Kevin Gravel, a 1-year, $700,000 cap hit. For the Florida Panthers, they signed Jared McCann. I believe they re-signed him to a 2-year, $874,000 contract a year. And Michael Hutchinson to a 1-year, $1.3 million cap hit. The LA Kings have re-signed Drew Doughty to an 8-year, $11 million a year cap hit, which will be taking effect not this year but the next year. And have signed Ilya Kovalchuk to a 3-year, $6.25 million a year contract. The Minnesota Wild signed Andrew Hammond to a 1-year, $650,000 deal. Eric Fair to a 1-year, $1 million deal. Michael Liambus to a 2-year, $675,000 deal. Matt Bartkowski to a 1-year, $650,000 deal. JT Brown to a 2-year, $687,000 deal. Nick Seeler to a 3-year, $725,000 deal. So Matt Hendricks, a 1-year, $700,000 deal. And finally, Greg Patterin to a 3-year, $2.25 million per year contract. Now we have the Montreal Canadiens. They signed Kenny Agostino to a 1-year, $700,000 deal. Michael Chaput, a 2-year, $675,000 per year contract. Jesperi Kotkaniemi to his entry-level contract. Matthew Pekka to a 2-year, $1.3 million per year. Xavier Ouellet to a 1-year, $700,000 deal. And finally, Thomas Plekanec to a 1-year, $2.25 million contract. The Nashville Predators didn't make any signings, so going to the New Jersey Devils. They signed Eric Gryba to a 1-year, $700,000 cap hit. The New York Islanders signed Leo Komarov to a 4-year, $3 million a year cap hit, as well as Thomas Hickey to a 4-year, $2.5 million cap hit. The New York Rangers signed Frederick Klassen to a 1-year, $700,000 deal, as well as Vladislav Namestnikov re-signed for a 2-year, $4 million per year cap hit. The Ottawa Senators signed Paul Carey to a 1-year, $700,000 deal, as well as Mike McKenna to a 1-year, $700,000 deal, as well. The Philadelphia Flyers signed James Van Riemsdyk to a 5-year, $7 million per year cap hit. The Pittsburgh Penguins signed John Muse to a 1-year, $650,000 deal. They signed the same contract as Zach Trotman, Jimmy Hayes, and Matt Cullen, all 1-year, $650,000. As well as Stephen Elliott. So that's 5 players that got signed to a 1-year, $650,000 deal. And finally, Jack Johnson, a 5-year, $3.25 million per year contract. The San Jose Sharks re-signed Logan Couture, which will take effect next year, to an 8-year, $8 million per year contract. The St. Louis Blues signed Tyler Witherspoon to a 1-year, $700,000 deal. Chad Johnson to a 1-year, $1.75 million deal. Brian Flynn to a 1-year, $650,000 deal. Tyler Bozak to a 3-year, $5 million per year contract, as well as David Perron to a 4-year, $4 million per year contract. The Tampa Bay Lightning have signed Kevin Lynch to a 1-year, $650,000 a year, and the same contract for Cameron Gaunce, as well as they have re-signed Ryan McDonough to a 7-year, $6.75 million per year contract, which will be taking effect next year. The Toronto Maple Leafs have signed Jordan Subban to a 1-year, $650,000 a year, the same with Adam Cracknell. Martin Marincin signed a 1-year, $800,000 a year deal. Josh Uris, I think that's how you say his name, signed a 1-year, $650,000 deal. And finally, John Tavares has signed with Toronto for a 7-year, $11 million per year cap hit. The Vancouver Canucks have signed Jay Beagle to a 4-year, $3 million per year contract. Ben Barchi to a 3-year, $3.367 million per year cap hit. Tim Schaller, a 2-year, $1.9 million per year contract. Antoine Roussel, a 4-year, $3 million per year contract. The Vegas Golden Knights have signed Jimmy Oligny, Alex Gallant, Curtis McKenzie, and Zach Fucali, all to 1-year, $650,000 a year deals. Nick Holden got signed by them to a 2-year, $2.2 million per year deal. Daniel Carr signed with Vegas for a 1-year, $750,000 deal. Maxime Lagacé signed with Vegas for a 1-year, $650,000 deal. And finally, Paul Stastny signed with Vegas for a 3-year, $6.5 million per year deal. The Washington Capitals signed Jason Megna as well as Michael Scarbosa to a 1-year, $650,000 a year deal. Travis Boyd to a 2-year, $800,000 a year deal. Nick Dowd to a 1-year, $650,000 deal. And Martin Ferrevery, that's how you say his name, to his entry-level contract. And finally, the Winnipeg Jets have signed Cameron Schilling to a 1-year, $650,000 deal, as well as Seth Griffith and Dennis Everberg, as well as Laurent Brossoit. Alright, so we'll be starting the notables with the contract going from the cheapest to most expensive per year. Starting off with Carter Hutton to the Buffalo Sabres. I think it's a risky deal depending on how they perform. If they believe Linus Ullmark is their starter and could play between around 50 games to 55 games, then I think it's a good deal for Carter Hutton. However, if they expect Carter Hutton to be their starter and Ullmark to be the backup, I don't think he is capable of performing like the way he did in St. Louis, because St. Louis had a much better defense and the system is most likely going to be different. Therefore, in Buffalo, he might not perform as well, but we'll have to wait to find out. Alright, so the next one is Ilya Kovalchuk's contract to the Los Angeles Kings. And this shows that LA is in a win-now mode. They've signed Doughty to an 8-year deal as well. They have Carter, they have Brown, they have Kopitar all locked up long-term, as well as Jonathan Quick. So putting in this extra cap space for Ilya Kovalchuk, it really shows that they're trying to win now. Screw the future. If we win another cup, maybe another 2 cups, I don't think so, but 1 cup is still possible for them. It'll be a win. However, this is definitely, you could definitely tell that this is a win now mode. Paul Stastny to the Vegas Golden Knights. I think this is a great signing for Vegas as they improve their center depth even more, having Carlson. Stastny now probably going to be the second-line center, as well as Eric Howla playing third-line center. It really bolsters their depth, and they could make another run to the Stanley Cup Finals next year because their team hasn't really changed. I mean, they lost Perron, but they did get Stastny back. And James Neal has still undecided where he's going to go. I don't think he's staying, but they still have a lot of prospects. They could get better. Van Riemsdyk signed with the Philadelphia Flyers, and this shows that I think Wayne Simmons' time in Philadelphia is up. He was with Philadelphia already, got traded to Toronto, and now Van Riemsdyk came back to Philly. And this really shows that Philadelphia is trying to improve their offensive core. He got 36 goals, I believe, this season, or 37 goals. He's a consistent 25-plus goal scorer, playing alongside of either Giroux or Konechny or Patrick, Couturier, Voracek. It makes a really good top 6 team. And again, for 5 years, it's a pretty good term because the team is fairly young. They're not that old yet. They don't have a lot of old players. He fits around that age with Giroux and Voracek, and I think it's a great deal for them. And finally, we have John Tavares signing with the Toronto Maple Leafs. And this really has to make you think, will Nylander be getting traded this offseason or in the summer or at the season start? Because they have so many forwards now and they need a defenseman, specifically a right-handed defenseman. And it may just seem that Nylander might be the odd man out just because of he's an RFA right now. Whereas Matthews and Marner are both RFAs next year. So if you could trade away this Nylander for a good right-handed defenseman, it'll really bolster their defensive core, as well as having a John Tavares, Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner top 3 attack, which is definitely going to be better than a Matthews, Nylander, Marner. I mean, Tavares is definitely better than Nylander at this moment. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did. If you want some more content, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.